Today on Look What Jess Found, we did a one roll coin roll hunt, and there was a lot of really interesting pennies in the roll. And while I was doing I talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's one of my things. While I was talking during the video, I mentioned how one of my YouTube buddies sent me a message saying that, one of the things that's different about this channel is that I really take my time with my coin roll searches. I look at each cent, and I found and I found something today, and um, it made me think about that message, because there's no way someone would have noticed this error, this mint error, if you're rushing, and if you're new to the channel, please click like and subscribe, right? Then watch a bunch of my older videos, and you'll see pretty much from my first video, I've always taken my time with looking at the coins. I do mostly pennies, and my background is as a social worker, and I always kind of figured that social workers tend to be very articulate and detail oriented. You have to be very specific when you're talking about a patient or a client, about what their issues are, so that their issues can be addressed properly, and so that when you're in front of a bunch of other professionals, you can articulate your thoughts with other professionals. So I always thought that maybe that transferred into my coin roll hunting, where I'm really want to see what's going on inside the damn penny. You know what I mean? And I'm going to show the penny I found in the previous video, and they might be scheduled at different times. So I apologize for that. You're just going to have to watch all the videos, I guess, all the way through to the end. I don't know at the time, and watch all the commercials and ads. And buy me a coffee. I guess you're just going to have to do that. What are you going to do? Just going to have to click on that buy me a coffee thing. Just kidding. JK. So let me show you the penny. And you could see a little bit of my process, right? And for those again, this is for people who maybe aren't doing coin roll hunting, who are considering coin roll hunting, especially pennies. Pennies is my forte. And without further ado, let me just show you what my process is. So let's say we got a bunch of pennies, right? And then what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'll take the penny out. Right. And then I'll make sure the zoom is where I want it to be, right? Which is usually about 5. Right now I have it at 4. I guess maybe it could be where I'm holding my hand. Let's go a little closer. Okay. And I usually start with the obverse, and I'm looking for anything that jumps out at me that is easily identified, right? So you can see here, there's something going on there, right? Is that a strike through? It could be. I look at the date or the digits. Look at the words, the letters, the cameo, the face, the head, the clothes, the field, and the rim. And especially, see this penny's dirty, right? So that could really hide or confuse, right? Like, so right there next to the T, that almost looks like another letter, right? Which would mean it's would be probably a die clash or a strike through if it was, but most likely it's not, right? So you have to have a loop readily available so that you can look at, like, so it's most likely dirt. It looks like a U though, but it's most likely dirt. And that little thing on the bottom, that little mark on the bottom, I didn't even notice that before, but that's probably a strike through, meaning that there was something on, and then I'll zoom in a bit, right? And I'll let the audience decide. I'll let you guys decide. To me, that's a strike through. It's a shape, right? It's a shape. And I didn't notice that when I first did the video. So I'm actually noticing more things the more I'm doing it. And also the edges have these marks. And sometimes a penny will fall on top of a penny. And when it'll get struck, and it'll leave the image of the letters or something on the rim. So you could always check that out. All right. So that's probably a strike through. Now let's look at the reverse. Now, I'm going to leave the penny like this for a little while. This is where the most significant error is. And I want you to look at this on your screen and see if you can see the error. So on the obverse, or the front, I did not notice that strike through the first time going, and I would have just threw that back into the coin roll. But that strike through, that's a pretty good strike through. Does it add value? It might. Somebody might want to pay $1 or $2 for that strike through, but that's not the most significant error. The most significant error is here on the reverse, and I want to see if you see it. Okay. How about now? Do you see it? How about now? Do you see it? How about now? Do you see it? How about now? Of course you see it. Of course you see it. Now, zoomed in on the error, it's obvious that there's an error there. What the error is, that's not so obvious. But the fact that there is an error in the S in states is obvious at this zoom. How about now? Can you see the error? How about now? Can you see the error? Of course you can't. How about now? Can you see the error? Of course you cannot. How about now? Can you see the error? I can't. And I got my super duper telescopic bifocals on that lets me see birds flying in mountains miles away, and I still can't see it. Okay, right about there is when I would be like, hold on, there's something going on in the S. And then I would have to look at it under the loop to verify, and then I would try to get a good zoom going on to the point where it's not getting blurry, you know what I mean? So the next question would be what type of error it is. Now, before I get into that, the point of this video really is to show my process for looking at coins. Right now, we're looking at a cent, colloquially known as a penny. And you can even see a little bit of a shadow on the top of the S. And this is my process. This is how I find errors, is by taking my time and looking at the coins one at a time, front and back, and seeing at a 5 zoom if I notice anything at this zoom something that needs to be looked at closer. Obviously, if it's a very, very clear error, then I might even notice it at a I might even notice it at a 3 zoom. If the error is like if there's a really vibrant double die, like two of a letter, I mean, you could see that from a mile away. But most of them are not. Most errors on coins are not that obvious. Most, I mean, like 99.99% are not. Like this one. This is at 6.3 zoom, and it becomes apparent that there is some sort of error going on in the S. Got a little closer. There we go. Now we're at 9.6. Now, you can see the impression pushing in to the S right there. Now, what is that? That's a different story. Is it a strike through? It could be. It could be a strike through. It could be. It's in a odd place. I mean, it could be. It could have just been something that landed on the planchet or on the die, and made that mark. But it's so clean and clear. And there's some other stuff going on. You can see some other like shadow work. You see that to the left and the top of the S. That it makes me think. Yeah, and you could see it that it's a yeah, it could be a strike through, right? But what is it though? Mm, well, it almost makes me think it's a die clash. I'll be honest with you, right? Like if so, a die clash is when the die has taken on the shape of something that it hit, and so then all the subsequent coins that it hits has that image on it. But I can't really tell. Now, someone out there who's going to watch this video is going to say, that's I've seen that before. I know what that is. And that's great, right? If you know what that is, beautiful. But the point of this video is not to identify the specific error. All right. So I'm going to put this down for a second. And I put it there so that way I don't forget about it and I know what it is. The point of this video is not to identify the type of error. It doesn't matter what does it matter what type of error is on the coin if you miss that there's an error on the coin. It's irrelevant, right? So I tell this story all the time about the Silver Eagles, the 40% Silver Eagles, Kenny half dollars. I said Silver Eagles, I'm sorry. Kenny half dollars, 40% silver. If you go through my playlist or you type into the search Kennedy half dollar or Kennedy, it'll come, the videos will come up, right? And while I was going through the bag of Kennedy half dollars I noticed one had a double die on it. Put it to the side. Out of the bag, there were about, and I probably should go through them again because of what I'm about to tell you right now. I put to the side about 10 that were in, because it was a circulate. I paid like $2 or $3, $2.50 for them each. And out of the bag, there was about 10 that were in nice shape, that I would like clean up or sell for a little bit of a premium because they were in better quality than the more heavily circulated ones. So I put them to the side. And while I was doing the abridged version of the significant findings from that search, I showed these 10 that I put to the side, right? I said, I had this double die and I had these 10. And I showed the 10 that were in nice condition. And while I'm showing them, I noticed there's another double die on one of those 10 in the abridged version. The other 90 I put back in the bag. That's it. They're going to get sold for whatever the book value is for them. $5, $6 they are now as of this video. And unless when I go to sell them, I take pictures of them individually and I notice a double die, that's it. They're getting sold for $6. Go search how much a significant double die on a Kennedy, a 40% silver Kennedy half dollar is. Over a significant one where you could really see the two images of the double die, well over $500, between $500 and like $2,000 for a significant double die on a nice quality Kennedy half dollar, silver, 40% silver. And I noticed it by accident. I just went like that. And you can see, if you watch the video, you'll see me go like this while I'm showing it, and I pause. And then I put it to the side. I didn't want to stop the flow of the video, so I put it to the side. And then when I looked at it again, it had doubling in several places on that coin, like the other one. I was like, "Holy moly! It's over $500 coin." So it doesn't matter what the specific name of the error is if you don't find it. It's irrelevant. I almost missed out on that coin because I don't know what was. I have no idea how I could even miss it. It was so obvious when I looked at it a second time. But in that penny that we just looked at for 10 minutes, that's very difficult to see if you're not looking at it close. So my recommendation to newcomers, or for people who are looking for direction, obviously if you have your own style and your own mojo, go, you're going to continue with that. Of course, that makes sense. Rob finds treasures. He has a mat, right? On his mat, it shows the varieties. So when he puts one of those varieties into the penny place on the mat, then he'll stop the video and he'll look at it. And that's the only time that I remember that he zooms in on a penny or a coin, is when it meets the criteria for that variety, that possible variety, like a double die on the obverse or the reverse. And then he'll look at it. But he's not, I don't believe, he's not searching through. He'll say, I'll come back. And he comes back when it's a possible variety. I don't do that. And I'm not Rob Finds Treasures. And neither are you. You're whoever you are. I'm Jess from LookWhatJesFound. And this is how I do it. and I find some weird stuff, man. Like that is a really nice. Looks like a die. It looks like a die clash. I feel like it's a letter from another penny that somehow um, got impressed into that one little space. But it could be a strike through something that fell. But it's so clean though, you know, and smooth and rounded like another letter. So I think it's either a die clash that's on the die that made that changed how the pennies look, or it's a strike through somehow. And I don't exactly know, but I know there's some sort of mint error there. So I hope that was helpful. Um, like I said, I want to make this video just as an instructional video as far as how I searched through, because I received a comment from my YouTube buddy, and he said that he liked that about how I search through pennies. So I just thought I would do a very long explanation and to show an example of how I do it. And for those of you out there who maybe don't do it that way, you might be missing out on errors that you didn't know were there. Okay, so God bless. Check out my other videos, especially the ones I said about the Kennedy $50. You just type it into the search on my channel. You type it into the search, and they'll come up. And also the playlist on wheat cents. Those were some of the first ones I've ever did, and you could compare my videos now with my videos from 4 months ago, and you could see a dramatic change in my technique. And I'll see you on the next one.